Hey guys! So I got a question this last week from Jacob down in Southern California, and his question to me was, "Hey Bob, I've been studying up on real estate, been reading a lot of books, and I was listening to this guy named Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey teaches that you should do debt-free investing." And I thought, wow, that sounds really good, but all the other books that I've been reading, like all the other books I've been reading, have been saying that I should borrow money to get started. And I don't know where to get started, so could you help me out? So my answer to you, Jacob, is they're both right. You have Dave Ramsey says, pay everything cash, and you'll have lower risk, you'll be happier, etc. You'll make more money. And then you have everybody else that says, hey, if you borrow to buy this property, you get some equity in it, you borrow off of that to buy the next property, and you get some equity in that, and you borrow off that one to buy the next property, then pretty soon you have tons and tons of properties, and if you're making $100 here, $300 there, $400 there, you can bring in a pretty good income. So, I'm just starting out. Which is the best way to go? So my answer to you, Jacob, is both. The reason is Dave Ramsey and the others have really great benefits. Dave Ramsey's is a psychological way of investing, and everybody else's is a mathematical or theoretical way of investing. Theoretically, you could buy a property, fix it up, have equity, borrow it, buy the next one. While you're still holding on to this property, you can buy another property, fix it up, get the equity, buy another property. Theoretically, you could go on with this and have tons of property with tons of passive income. The fact of the matter is, if you have all these properties and this person stops paying their rent and this person stops paying their rent, all of a sudden you can't pay the mortgage. You lose this house. And you can't pay this mortgage, so you lose that house. And you can't pay this mortgage, so you lose that house. Or duplex, or multi-unit property. Really doesn't matter what kind of property it is. You end up losing them. I know this because I got up to 13 units and I ended up losing 3 houses. Basically doing this method. Dave Ramsey's method, on the other hand, you buy a property, you pay it off outright, you fix it up, now you got equity in it. Either you sell it and you buy 2 properties, or you sell it, you buy another property, you fix it up, sell it, and buy 2 properties, or you fix it up, you rent it out, and you make a boatload on the rent. You don't have a problem with when a tenant leaves, because you got all the time in the world to put another tenant in there. Because the property's paid off, you have nobody to pay but the government for taxes. So I love Dave Ramsey's plan. He's got some wisdom that he's been teaching for years and years and years, and I can tell you at first I thought he was a fool. I had my 13 properties, several that I bought with zero money down, and didn't have a reserve, so it was that was the way I thought. Hey, I'll get started doing this. It's fail-proof. I won't have any problems. The other thing that Dave Ramsey teaches is when it comes to interest write-offs. Everybody says, oh, you got to get this property and have the interest payments so you can write off on your taxes. Well, the problem with that is, let's say you end up paying $10,000 a year in taxes, and you're in a 28% tax bracket. 28% of $10,000 of your expense, because you paid an interest, is $2,800. So out of that $10,000, you're going to get $2,800 back. Yay! The problem is you just spent $7,200 of your money for no benefit, just so you could have a tax write-off. So all those tax accountants that are out there that so lovingly say, hey, get you a loan so you can have some tax write-offs. I would much rather pay the $2,800 in rent, or pay the $2,800 in tax, than pay $7,200 in tax so that I could have that $2,800 back from the $10,000 in interest payments. I hope that makes sense to you. Totally makes sense to me. I think Dave Ramsey hit it right on the head with that one. And unless you're like right there at the next tax bracket where you're going on 28 to whatever, that's the only way I could even see how there could be a possibility of a benefit there. Realistically, it's much better to have a property paid off. So psychologically it's better because you can wait forever for a good tenant. You don't have to take the first tenant that comes around and have to evict them 3 months later. You don't have to sweat it in the middle of the night saying, how am I going to keep my payment? And the tax write-off, as far as the interest goes, you save more money by not having to pay interest than paying it and getting a tax write-off back. We understand that there are those that There are those that pay interest, and then there are those that understand interest. So if you understand interest, obviously you're going to pay as little as possible. If you don't understand it, those are the people everybody's looking to come and get you so you can pay it. So hopefully, Jacob, I've answered your question. As far as you in particular, because I know your personal situation, I would say instead of buying something in California as your first property, unless you're going to go mobile home where it's much cheaper and you can start off cheaper, I would say save up your money and maybe start with options, real estate options, because realistically you can buy a property with 100% down on an option. And the way that I would do that is for instance, I bought a property, I bought an option some years ago. It was the option to buy a duplex, and I paid $20 for it. So I was debt-free investing because I paid $20. I didn't owe anything, and I had the right to buy that property at the price we agreed upon. And I went to go and advertise that option then, because I got it so I could sell it to somebody else. I could assign it to somebody else. So I bought it for $20. I had 9 months to get rid of it. So all I had to do was find a buyer that would buy it for more than what I was going to be able to buy it for. So let's say, for instance, you find a property that somebody's willing to sell to you for $100,000. You pay them $1,000 for the option to buy it at $100,000, and then you go find somebody else that will buy it from you for $110,000. So you advertise the property for $110,000. You do it within the 9 months. As long as it's a good deal, you go off and you sell it to them. And when you go to the title company, you exercise your option and you close with the new people at the same time. You squeeze out that $10,000 minus expenses, and you make $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 off your $1,000 investment. That is debt-free investing. So several other things you could do as well to get started when you don't have a whole lot of money. But those are good ways to get started. All right, I'll talk to you later.